What's up, guys? I'm going to show you a game that I just played that had a really crazy ending to it that I want to show you. Really nice checkmate that you're going to get a chance to see if you can spot. It was a little bit wild in the beginning and middle game, but I think there's some things to be learned here. Now, the reason it looks a little bit different as chess vibes instead of Nelsie's because I copied this over from Immortal Game. So I was playing this on Immortal Game, which if you haven't seen any of those videos, it's basically chess with side quests. It's in the beta phase right now. If you want to join that, there's a link in the description. You can join that, and there's like rewards for joining early. So if you were thinking about it, or if you're interested in that, I would recommend joining now rather than waiting. But this was against someone named Chess Magi's 2400 over there. And so let's go ahead and take a look at this game. So knight f3, I played knight c6, and what I like to do a lot of times is play e5 and just get control of the center right away. So most people will play d4 to kind of stop that, and that's exactly what this person did. So I played d5, c4, pretty common stuff, bishop to g4. So the point, this is the Chigorin, by the way, the point is that usually you just develop these queenside pieces right away. A lot of times the queen will come up and you'll kind of castle queenside and get the rook involved. And it can be pretty tricky early depending on what white does. And sure enough, this person played queen to b3. Now, I'm by no means an expert on the Chigorin. I play it occasionally from time to time. I know a little bit. I don't know too much. I played e6 here with the idea of gambiting this pawn, which my opponent did take, so that I could follow it up with knight to b4. This is a, I guess, somewhat common idea in the Chigorin, maybe you might say, where you give up the pawn, but then your knight's under attack, so you got to move it somewhere, so you hop it over to b4 and you come in this way. Now I think Stockfish was saying earlier I should have taken here so that I would have had the option to like take on d4. Maybe that's a little bit better, but I didn't realize that, so I just went this way. Still, it's kind of already kind of a weird position. So knight to a3, my opponent's just defending against the fork there. And rook to b8, I wanted to just activate the rook, and yes, I'm going to lose another pawn, but I figured, hey, this way the rook can be more involved in the game. It also takes that queen off of the light squares here, so I don't have to worry about some of these potential checks. Now there is queen a4 check, so I don't know how good this move is. Stockfish says it's decent. But anyway, they took, I took, bishop to f4, not the right move. Apparently queen a4 was better for some reason, but I didn't know that. Knight to d5, again, not the right move. If you're wondering, I'm supposed to take this knight. Like, Stockfish just really says, hey, take the knight. Just take the knight and then do some other stuff. So it wanted me to take this and then bring my knight back to c6. Oh, because the queen's attacked, and then I can play bishop to b4, I guess, and white loses castling rights. Okay, so that's what Stockfish was basically saying. Hey, take the knight and do that. I didn't see that, so I'm just trying to defend my pawn over here. Stockfish has bigger ideas, and I'm just like, no, I got to defend my pawn. So knight to d5, attacks the bishop, defends my pawn. I thought it was a cool move. Stockfish says, nope, I'm not very smart because queen a4 check. And now I have to like trade queens, and then white's knight comes in. Apparently that's really good for white. So, but opponent didn't see that. They moved the bishop. Now I took the knight, which Stockfish says, hey, good job. You finally caught on. And I should have played bishop to b4 check immediately, again, making white lose castling rights. Now, I did see this move, but I thought that I could get away with taking here first and then playing bishop b4 check. So that's what I did in the game. Now, Stockfish says I'm crazy for some reason. Why am I crazy? Knight takes c4. And if I try bishop b4 check now, king to d1, and apparently I'm just in trouble, which is weird. Because it looks like white's in trouble, but Stockfish says, no, you're in trouble because this is hanging. And why am I in trouble? Oh, my rook doesn't have anywhere to go to. The rook is trapped. Wow. All right. I didn't see that, but that's interesting. Okay, so that's why I should have just played check right away. My opponent didn't see that either, and they took the wrong way. And now I'm kind of back in an okay position. I put get the check in, so white cannot castle. King to f1. I played knight g to e7. What I'm trying to do is just get castled, because once my king gets safe, I know that white has a long-term kind of permanent king weakness, right? They're not going to be able to castle. This rook is basically stuck. So if I can get my king out of the center, I'm going to be really happy. So knight to b5, and I said, this is it. This is my moment. I don't even care about this pawn. It's one pawn. In a game like this, that pawn literally means nothing. Like, it just doesn't mean anything. So I castled. Opponent took this. And let's see. I traded queen to d7, and there's a moment here I'm going to give you a chance to pause the video and see if you can find the move. Bishop to b6. Let's see, queen to c6, Bishop to b3. All right, this is the moment in the game. This was a big mistake by my opponent, and I'd like you to pause the video and try to think through, what did I play here and what's the idea? Well, if you had a chance to do that, the move is queen to b5 check. And now, why is this such a strong move? Well, first of all, it's almost checkmate. The king can move over. But the reason it's so good is because I'm going to be able to infiltrate on e2 with this amazing queen and rook battery that sets up all sorts of nasty threats. So king to g1. And I could have played queen e2 immediately. I did not. I played a different move. So again, I'd like you to pause. What do you think I played, and why would I play another move instead of just going for checkmate? What could be the idea? So I want you guys to think through that, and then we'll talk about what the move was. All right, well, if you had a chance to look at that, the move that I played was knight to d5. Now, the reason I played knight to d5 is because after queen e2, I noticed that if white wanted to, they could play the move d5, allowing the queen and bishop to now suddenly be involved in defending. Now, Stockfish says it's not a big deal because I have knight c8 and I'm forking these guys, and then if the queen like moves somewhere, I'm just taking it and I'm still getting checkmate somehow after bishop to e1. This is crazy stuff. I didn't see all that. So apparently it would have worked out fine. But in my mind, I'm thinking, well, why even let these pieces get into the action? Let's blockade that pawn, because now I just eliminated these pieces from defending on f2. And I'm still coming here next move. Like, I don't really see how white is going to stop me from going there, right? So I'm okay taking a move to do this. Also, I'm just threatening to win a piece. If white did somehow find some random move that stops me from going there, well, I can also just take this. So I felt like it was just all around really a nice move, right? So I played knight to d5. Opponent played bishop to c5. I didn't really care about that. I mean, yes, they were saving their bishop, but I didn't really care. Queen to e2. We are going for checkmate. And now my opponent played rook to f1. And it kind of looks like they are surviving, at least temporarily. So again, if you'd like to pause, what do you think the winning move is here for black? All right, well, if you had a chance to look at that, the move that I played, and this is the best move. There's actually a couple of winning moves, but the best move is knight to e3. Sorry, knight to e3. And the point is very simple. White can't take it because we have checkmate on g2 right away. So if they can't take the knight, what can they do? I mean, I'm threatening also to take the rook here, which is checkmate. And if, let's just say, the rook moves somewhere over here, then I still have this checkmate, right? So white's in a mess, and it's forced mate. The only way they can sort of delay the game is with bishop to c4, which was played in the game. I took it, and I still have sort of the same threats. Apparently, white can survive a little bit longer by moving the rook back. I have to go back to e2, setting this up, and then, yeah, white can just delay by sacrificing the queen. And now it's just over. h3, takes, and then checkmate. So that's the move. And there was another one as well I want to show you. If you said this, you would have also been correct. Bishop to e1 is also a winning move. It takes a little bit longer to get checkmate, but the point is that white just can't defend everything. That because these pieces are blocked out, there's just no way to like defend this. They can try to run away, but we're just basically taking, throwing in this check. Yeah, this one, see, this one's a little bit more complicated because the king actually gets away on h4. But at the end of the day, there's still a checkmate. Let's see, what is the move here? Queen h6. This is a much more difficult one. Queen g5 check, king to f2, rook takes c2, and there you go. So much longer, but it leads to the same position. So anyway, I thought that was a really cool game. Knight to e3, what a fun move to play. Just, you know, completely destroying white. In the game, I think white actually played here and then tried to escape with h3, but it just doesn't work. Just gets mated like this. So that's what happened in the game. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys. Like I said, I played this one over on Immortal Game. I've been playing over there, earning the in-game token. And so if you're interested in that, there is going to be a link in the description. Beta phase is open for a few more weeks. And if you get in early, there is rewards for those players who get in early. So, but anyway, if you missed the video where I gave you the basics on Immortal Game and you want to see that, I'm going to put it over here. But having said that, stay sharp, play smart, take care.